The British people are not stupid. 736 foreign criminals gone, disappeared. 53,298 illegal migrants gone, disappeared. My questions: where are they now? Who is being sacked? Will the minister...
Order! We don't need commentary from a sedentary position. And to remind Mr. Lowe...
Whenever Rupert Lowe rises to speak in the House of Commons, the reaction from the benches opposite is always rather telling. You can almost hear the unspoken words, "Oh dear, here we go again." For those of us who grew up in the Britain of the 1970s and 1980s, a country still carrying the imprint of the post-war generation, the current situation feels particularly dispiriting. For decades, the British public were assured that every concern about immigration was either irrational, temporary, or morally suspect. Enoch Powell was treated as a pariah. During the Blair years and the explosive post-1997 migration boom, we were told that diversity was our strength and that any skepticism was outdated. Even after the Brexit referendum, when millions voted explicitly to take back control, we were promised the issue would finally be resolved. And yet the small boats crisis has only intensified. If this conversation matters to you, please subscribe and help keep it alive. Let's look at what happened in a recent debate.
The scale of illegal immigration and its impact on our country is simply not understood in this Parliament, nor do most members even care. British people are genuinely scared. Women are frightened to go into their towns alone. Parents are terrified to let their children walk to school. It's getting worse and worse and worse. The British people are not stupid. They can see their communities radically changing, and they can feel their streets becoming more unfamiliar, more dangerous, more menacing. All whilst the Home Office deliberately conceals the true extent of the change from our citizens. 736 foreign criminals gone, disappeared. 53,298 illegal migrants gone, disappeared. My questions: where are they now?
18.
What is the minister doing to detain them?
Number 2.
Where did they come from?
3.
What are their convictions?
4.
How has this been allowed to happen?
5.
I can count, thank you. Why did the minister mislead the British people?
6.
Who is being sacked?
7.
Will the minister...
Order! We don't need commentary from a sedentary position. And to remind Mr. Lowe...
Well, that was characteristically direct. Mr. Tapp's response was, predictably, the standard Labour playbook under Keir Starmer: avoid the numbers, avoid the consequences, and lecture the public about tone instead.
I'm grateful for the Minister for giving way, because it's really important when we talk about emotive subjects like this, about establishing the facts, because the member opposite recently railed on social media about illegal migrants coming to Great Yarmouth, his constituency. They happen to be canoeists. Now he is Billy No Mates. He's like some latter-day King Canute without his courtiers, on the beach, railing at the tide to go backwards. Does he not agree? And I hope for the record, Madam Deputy Speaker, I pronounce Canute correctly.
As you can see, deflection, pure and simple. This government, like so many before it, has perfected the art of appearing busy while achieving very little. Under Keir Starmer, we are once again witnessing the same institutional paralysis: a Home Office that cannot control borders, a civil service captured by ideology, and a political class more terrified of being called hardline than of failing in its most basic duty, protecting the British people. For years, perfectly ordinary observations about rapid change in our towns and neighbourhoods were treated as unsayable. The media routinely labelled them far right. Politicians moralised the debate rather than engage with the data. Critics were discredited instead of answered. Ordinary people noticed the transformation happening around them. The elites denied it. That pattern of elite denial has been remarkably consistent across decades. Let me be clear, this is not about race or nationality in itself. People from all backgrounds have made valuable contributions to this country. The issue is one of scale, speed, and the repeated failure of the system to manage reality. We are repeatedly told that the severe strains on public services record NHS waiting times that now run into many months, acute housing shortages that have left young families unable to get on the property ladder, overcrowded schools struggling with capacity, local councils teetering on the edge of bankruptcy, the extraordinary cost of hotel accommodation for asylum seekers running into billions, and the additional burden on policing have nothing whatsoever to do with historically high migration levels, a proposition that becomes harder to sustain with each passing year. Meanwhile, much of Europe has already begun correcting course. Denmark has tightened its asylum rules and focused on returns. The Netherlands has undergone a significant political shift. Sweden, once the most generous, has reversed many of its earlier assumptions. France grapples with serious security concerns, and even Germany is feeling the pressure on its borders. Britain, under Starmer, by contrast, still clings to the old orthodoxies, as though acknowledging the scale of the problem were somehow indecent. One is left wondering how much longer this country can afford such performative delicacy. A law that is not enforced gradually ceases to be law at all. When over 53,000 people can simply disappear after breaching immigration rules, including hundreds of foreign national offenders, when deportation remains an endless bureaucratic game, and when asylum processes are so easily gamed, one has to ask what remains of the concept of sovereignty itself. The modern political class often seems far more concerned with performative compassion and virtue signalling than with exercising basic responsibility. Compassion without realism eventually becomes a form of moral vanity, and more importantly, irresponsibility toward one's own citizens. At a deeper level, this touches on questions of cultural confidence. Multiculturalism works only so long as there remains a strong, confident underlying culture into which people are expected to integrate. A country that loses confidence in its own inheritance, that becomes embarrassed about defining itself, that fears appearing intolerant more than it fears losing social cohesion, eventually loses the ability to defend what it once took for granted. The real division in Britain today is not primarily between native and newcomer. It is between the political class, insulated in Westminster and comfortable suburbs, and the ordinary working people, particularly in working class communities, who are expected to live with the consequences of decisions made by those who will never have to face them. The former are too often told their concerns are immoral. The latter continue to set policy. Rupert Lowe continues to ask some of the necessary and uncomfortable questions. The responses he receives, or the evasion he encounters, are themselves quite instructive. A nation is not merely an economy or a geographic space. It is a continuity of memory, custom, obligation, and trust. When a government treats that continuity as endlessly flexible and negotiable, it is not showing compassion. It is demonstrating a profound failure of responsibility to the people it was elected to serve. The question Britain now faces is whether it still possesses the cultural confidence and political will to preserve what remains of that inheritance, or whether we have quietly decided that the country we grew up in is no longer worth defending. If you find this kind of clear-eyed discussion valuable, you're very welcome to subscribe. Thank you for watching. The conversation, one hopes, will continue.